I came home from the hospital and found my sister with my husband, so I cut them all off. 7 years ago, I was 10 weeks pregnant when I miscarried. The cramps started at work, and by the time I got to the hospital, I already knew something was very wrong. The doctor confirmed it that night. I lost the baby. My husband never came to the hospital. He texted me that he had a work emergency and said he'd meet me at home. I got back around 2 in the morning, tired, in pain, and still wearing the hospital band. When I walked into our bedroom, he was in our bed with my sister. They were both awake. Neither of them looked shocked. My sister pulled the sheet up to her chest, and my husband said, "We need to talk about this like adults." I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I took out my phone, snapped a picture of them in my bed, grabbed my bag, and walked out. I spent the night in a motel and called a lawyer the next morning before I even went to work. 3 days later, they showed up at my job together. They waited near the side door by the loading area so my coworkers wouldn't hear, but people still saw us. My sister said it just happened and she never meant to hurt me. My husband said we could do therapy and fix this. He kept saying one mistake like that made it smaller. I told them I wanted a divorce and I wanted out. I didn't ask for the house, the car, or any furniture. I just wanted my name off that life. 2 weeks later, my mom called and said my sister was pregnant. I hung up. After that, my parents kept pushing me to be reasonable. They said the baby was innocent and I should think about the family. They also begged me not to tell anyone what happened because it would ruin everything. I told them the family died the night I walked into my bedroom. Then I cut all of them off. My sister married my ex 6 months after my divorce was final. They had that baby, then 2 more. My parents mailed photos and sent birthday invites and holiday texts for years. Sometimes they used new numbers after I blocked the old ones. One time, my mom left a voicemail saying, "The kids keep asking why Auntie never comes." I deleted it without finishing it. I moved 2 hours away and started over. 3 years ago, I met my now husband at a coffee shop. He was funny, steady, and kind, and his family took me in without asking me to pretend nothing happened. His sister has 4 kids, and they started calling me Auntie. I went to school plays, birthday dinners, and park days. We baked cookies, watched movies, and did all the small family stuff I thought I'd lost forever. For the first time in years, I felt safe around family again. Then, 3 months ago, I got a call at work from a number I didn't know. I answered, and it was my sister crying so hard I could barely understand her at first. She said, "Please, I need you. I need my sister." I hung up. An hour later, my mom texted, saying, "Your sister needs you right now. Please call her." I blocked the number. That night, my dad emailed me because he knew I was blocking calls. I deleted that too without opening it. 2 days later, my dad called from a different phone. He said my sister had lost a baby and was falling apart, and I needed to be there because I knew what that pain felt like. I said no, I don't, and hung up. A week later, my mom came to my house without warning. When I opened the door, she was already crying. She begged me to forgive my sister and said I had to help because family is family. Then she said the kids needed an aunt, and I should stop punishing them for what happened years ago. I stood there looking at her, and something in me got very still that day. I said, "You're right, I do know what it's like to lose a baby. I also know what it's like to come home from the hospital bleeding and heartbroken and find my sister in my bed with my husband." My mom went pale and tried to talk, but I kept going. I told her I knew what it was like to have my parents beg me to forgive the person who helped destroy my marriage. I told her I knew what it was like to be called selfish because I wouldn't play aunt to the children my sister had with my husband. She said she's still your sister. I said she stopped being my sister that night. Then I said, "And you stopped being my mother the day you asked me to forgive her for it." My mom started crying harder and reached for the doorframe like she might fall. I stepped back inside, told her to leave, and closed the door. She stayed on my porch crying for a few minutes, and then I heard her car pull away. Now my mom is saying I'm cruel for shutting the door. Was I wrong?